largest provider of you know, of EMR tech. So anyway, I was living up in Vermont at the time, and that's where IDX was founded. So I actually grew up right down the road from IDX. That's sort of may even be the reason how I ended up like strong in healthcare, because when I was really young, I used to train their programmers, right, on Microsoft development stuff. So long story short, at one time, IDX had acquired Allscripts, and Allscripts, if I remember correctly, was the first one to actually lay down some source code that they called, you know, the patient portal. And somehow, if I remember correctly, gosh, I have to research this now before I tell the history again. But there, I don't know if it was a merge or something happened with Epic, but you know, so that's sort of back when I first started getting interested in them. But I decided to go more, you know, the international speaking, traveling route, and I just kept, you know, the IP that I had at the time. I wasn't in the, you know, in the mindset of sort of building something in a corporation at that time. So long story short, you know, boy, they boomed, and now here we are. So you know, that's when I first got interested in these things. But now, even more recently, you know, you hear us talk about Dynamics a lot, or maybe, you know, at least when we talk about the Microsoft side of this and the Power Platform. And so these, you know, they have a portal product. And so one of the things that we've been interested in, and you know, and I've been thinking about for some time now, is in integrating those into healthcare, right? There's already great examples of, you know, of that. And so what's exciting, and I think part of the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is we actually released our, you know, first version of our website today, and we did it on top of the Power Platform. So this is, you know, technically underneath the scenes, I would call it a Dynamics portal. Microsoft would say, you know, it's a Power Apps portal, but it's a secure portal. Let's just call it that.
And that's what we're looking at now?
Yeah, that's what we're looking at now. Yeah, so we just deployed this out, and of course we've got a link here, you know, to start promoting the group here, and then, you know, we're doing some stuff with the Power Platform stuff as well. So notice, you know, we're heavily, you know, promoting the user group here. And then, so when I started, you know, I just, you know, I needed to come up with a topic to talk about today, so it just seemed to make sense, since we were already doing so much, and my mind was in portals, to, you know, you know, to take a look at them. So and then another reason why my sort of head is in portals land right now is it's that time of year for me where, you know, I'm doing my routine checkups at the hospitals here. You know, they're a little bit spread out in the North Shore, and these little, you know, they consolidate, so they end up spread it out a little bit. So, and I've been logging into the portal, right, which happens to be Epic. So Epic, you know, the Epic portals, and so I actually have a, you know, a screenshot of that I pulled into this PowerPoint deck. So if you actually log into, you know, Mass Brigham, General Brigham, which is, gosh, I don't know if they're the largest, but, you know, certainly, you know, one of them, let me just switch these screens. And, you know, and they're running, right, they're running this stuff. And so now, no, I don't want to be confuse you. These are not, as far as I know, they don't have anything to do with, you know, the underlying stuff is not what I was just talking about, the Dynamics portal. I have, you know, this is completely their IP that they've come up with.
Yeah, this is their stuff that's live today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is live. This is me actually logged in. You know, I haven't even logged in yet. I didn't want to log in because I think I have a lot of personal, you know, data in there. But you know, so you can imagine you go in there and then you can do all the, actually it's amazing how sophisticated they've come. You know, you can, you know, the integrations with who your provider is, and, you know, the payer and the payee, and gosh, I mean, it's just incredible how complex these things have come. So that's interesting, you know, right? So I don't know how many, you know, hospitals or organizations, but so Diana, just put it in perspective. I'm not talking about, you know, 1 or 3 or 5 or even 10. Like, this group is huge. They've got to have at least, I mean, I'll just say a conservative number, somewhere around 50, but I bet it's like way higher. Like, if you know, locations, right? If you actually count all their, like, you know, small doctors' offices and clinics. So they probably just have that in the North Shore, but I don't want to, you know, on my camera here misquote or anything. So we'll go with a really safe number, but it's not 1 or 2 or 5. You know, when I say they're a group, I mean like a really, really big group. And just to give it some context. And then, so that's cool. And then, you know, if we look at, my keyboard is still flaking out. I have a new keyboard on the way. I gave up trying to fix my keyboard. I think I went too
You can
far.
handle it, Paul. You can manage a new one, right?
Yeah, I think that's, and I trust me, it's not worth the time. You don't know how many times I've annoyed myself. Oh, I didn't even finish these slides. That's what the problem is. Let me stop this. I've got two images overlaying each other. I'm trying to get to this one. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So I had one more slide to complete and I started talking to Diana. So then this is interesting. This is a CVS My Chart, right? So if you log into, so what's interesting is CVS has essentially, they're using, I guess the best way to say it is that they're using the Epic My Chart engine, right? I guess, engine platform, it's called a platform, underneath the scenes, right? And so you can see they've got the Epic logo here, and then even the URL, they're pointing to My Chart. So wow, that's huge. Talking about enterprise secure portals, right? Because that's just in our area. That's just my home state, right? We don't then multiply that times, the thousands of other large hospitals that they're, supporting with this portal system. And then what happened is we saw, where is that? I think it's on my other desktop here. Hold on a second.
So is My Chart such the top #1 or one of the best?
I would have to research that before I, made a statement like that. I mean, I would certainly say that what we could say is that they were definitely one of the first to markets, right? And I'm fairly confident they probably have the largest customer base. But, in terms of best, I don't know. I know from my perspective, I can speak from our perspective. I think I like them. I hate to use the word the best, but I like them because they're built on top of an open stack. I like them, and actually, if we go back to, I was trying to find that news article to share with Peter that we got today about portals and how.
The one that you sent me a while ago.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, Peter, the premise was that that COVID was the catalyst or perfect use case for patient portals. And okay, there it is in the chat, so I'll post it. Hold on one second. Yeah, so and I actually agree with this premise. I thought it was spot on. And the reason why I say that is because I know in my own life I've been using these portals a lot more, in the last year with COVID. So the premise was that, COVID was a catalyst for, or sort of like, I guess we say catalyst for these portals. And I think they were already taking off. They already had the contract with My Chart and sorry, Diana, and and they were doing great things, but certainly that helped, right? So I say that. And so then you could actually go to the My Chart site, right? So if you just Google Epic and My Chart, you can see they've got the all the stuff, and you can actually sign in and see it for yourself. And then we should be able to do Epic Health and portals. So Diana, I like them because they're built on an open framework. They have a good partner channel too. So I actually joined the partner channel, and that was something I was going to talk to you about coming up here soon. Is how I consider that an important partnership for us, the Epic. That's interesting is when it brings you right to My Chart when you oh, here we go.
I have to make the comment that I've been living in the dark ages with my local healthcare providers with the portals they've had. They had actually my primary care was with Follow My Health, and they've just deep six Follow My Health with Helo, and I haven't even made the transition there yet. And it's interesting because you mentioned COVID. The only thing, even though I've used it in the past to track my health records to ensure accuracy, the only reason why I wanted to use it was to update it because I got my COVID vaccination someplace else, and I wanted to update that record that said I had been vaccinated, and I couldn't get it done because of the migration. But this looks much nicer than what I've been dealing with.
Oh, really? What's interesting is when I went to my primary care provider about 6 weeks ago, again, I'm going through that sort of once in the year cycle here. I saw in the corner that, or no, the woman had said something to me, the nurse. She said, "Oh, I see you have your COVID vaccine." I was like, "Yeah, but how did you know that?" You know what I mean? That's crazy. How do you know that? That's like, whoa, I've been in healthcare informatics for 25 years. That's not right. And so what happened was, when I signed the paper to get my Johnson & Johnson vaccine back in March, apparently I also signed to share that health information, with healthcare providers, right? And of course, as I just showed you, in Massachusetts, that's pretty much everybody. You know what I mean? Like, once it's in my chart, pretty much everywhere you go, they're gonna have my chart, including CVS, right?
Sure.
So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I said to the nurse, "What about HIPAA?" And even she knew. She just looked at me. She said, "I don't know." And she laughed. I was like, "Okay."
You sign.
Yeah, because that's crazy. Because and now I understand why they don't like you to see sort of their view of the portal.
Yeah.
So
That's why that's the small letter and very at the bottom.
Yeah. And again, I'm a really transparent person. a long time ago, just working in computer science and data, when I saw the big credit card companies back in the, mid and late 90s starting to amass those huge data pools, and they were already starting to mine our data, I pretty much accepted, back then, that my privacy was really limited, right? Realistically. So don't get me wrong. I'm not, I'm not, I'm a fan of privacy from my professional perspective, right? I mean, that's something that I take very serious for my clients, but my personal life, it's not a big deal. But I guess I'm used to looking at it from a security perspective, from an informatics perspective, from a platform perspective. And that's
interesting, because I carried, actually, it was 2019. One of my clients was Equifax, that I spent quite a bit of time with. And it was, I have no other way to describe it, but it was frightening.
No, I trust me. I know that was probably about the same time period when I acknowledged that I had lost all my privacy, and I just moved on. It was very freeing, actually. Now people are stressing out about it. I was like, I crossed that bridge 20 years ago.
That's it. It's an illusion.
Yeah, no, exactly. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about is these portals. I don't know if you had, do you have any, so you said the only experience you really have with them is just using them locally at your local provider. Do you notice IBM do anything in this space, healthcare portals?
They have not at this point. And actually I'd reached out, I was trying to get the Watson Health marketing lead, as we had talked about before, to get somebody to come on and talk about digital health pass. And unfortunately, she's no longer with IBM, so I'm hunting down her replacement right now.
Oh, nice.
And, too bad. I was looking for.
Hopefully, it's good. I am assuming she moved on to greener pastures.
I hope so. Hopefully, I'll still be able to talk to her. But I was really looking forward to meeting her, because her office is in Stowe, Vermont.
Oh, wow!
I'd like to have an office in Stowe.
Yeah, me too. So, yeah, no, that's I think I told you I might have mentioned it through the media. I actually grew up in the Burlington. Oh, I mentioned it today actually when we were talking about IDX, and I grew up in.
Yeah, you mentioned Vermont.
Yeah, I probably mentioned a lot. It's close to my heart. Every chance I can. Yeah, so Shelburne, but boy, I love Stowe. You're right. That would be an amazing place to to have an office. I think it's a great place to have a healthcare company too. There's some good talent. You're close to Boston, right? You're within a 3-hour drive, to Boston. There's the huge GE, building is still up there. That's IDX sold to GE, and so now it's a GE space that's up there.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And so, what about have you heard it? Have you heard anything else in the news this week in terms of health technology, or what's going on in your world?
Well, the only big blurb was Google and HCA. I know that it's been, actually it was, I think it was just on the wire.
The conference.
No, not the conference. This was a an announcement of HCA new partnership with Google Cloud. And it's really expansion of what's been kicked around before, but basically using taking HCA's Patient Keeper and Mobile Heartbeat into Google Cloud, using the Google Cloud Healthcare APIs and BigQuery and what have you. So not a lot of details.
What's the name of the company? It wasn't ACA. What did you call it?
HCA. Health.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Hotel Charlie.
Oh,
Alpha.
wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal. They gotta
Really? Wow.
They've got a lot of coverage there. I mean, that's a lot of hospitals, and I think there was like got 140,000 doctors, and they're talking about leveraging this with. And I'd say what was most interesting is in the article. I don't think the term AI was used anywhere. What they did talk about though was reworking patient workflows. And assisting doctor evaluations. I forget the term was it, but it was they did not use the term AI anywhere in the article.
That's really interesting. I wonder what they were assisting with doctor. You said evaluations, but maybe that wasn't the right term. Do you remember where that was? I see medical workers.
Well, yeah, this is there's only a marketing person could write this. The partnership is meant to empower physicians and nurses with deeper insights.
Interesting. That's sort of the space that we're in as well. So we're working with Microsoft on something called the PatientExperience platform, which integrates Microsoft Teams with the product that we've developed in partnership with Dartmouth over the past few years. And so, wow, I'm glad you pointed this out. I would love to dive into this. It's been a really busy week. We've been buried in proposals, so I haven't.
Actually, I'm looking at the date on this. I don't know why this showed up in my inbox this morning. The date of the article is actually May 26th. But
that's pretty new. That's still new. We're so used. We live in such a fast. I thought you were going to say like last year or something. No, that's very recent. Wow, thank you for sharing this. That's amazing. Again, we've been buried in in proposals, and so I missed this.
Yeah, I just pasted the link into the chat.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. Hey, Peter. So we are talking about the patient portal experience. And if I ask you, as a customer, as a patient, what will be the most important for you to have in a portal for you as, the user experience?
The most important function?
Yeah, or also some feature that you would like to have in a patient portal.
Interesting. That's a good question, because I haven't really thought about it, mostly because the Follow My Health portal was so limited that all I really spent my time focused on was its accuracy. I wanted to be sure that it was accurate. Oh, you know what? I found what I would like to see actually. And I think there are some places that you can do this, but to have APIs to fitness devices, to be able to allow you to share your personal fitness information with, for example, your primary care, in terms of helping their evaluation. So whether it's Fitbit, whether it's your Apple, your Apple or Peloton or.
Oh, you mean like if you use like a Fitbit band or like a Garmin band to integrate this? Oh, that's actually, I would like that too.
Even more, not just the Garmin. So in my one house, so we have the Garmin watch, if that's Fitbit. Then we have the bathroom scale, which is digital and Wi-Fi, and it gives us at least 7 to 10 other data points, weight, body fat, bone, water, right? Then I've got my blood pressure cuff, wireless, Withings. So that gives me pulse and blood pressure. You know, then I also have the SpO2 thing. That's not wireless. I just have a cheap one of those. But ideally, that would be wireless as well. So I might be forgetting one, but gosh, I agree with you, because I was just thinking about this like a week ago. I want to capture every Sunday my data points and give it to my primary care provider, you know. But now I've got to go into like 5 different apps, compile it all, put it in a spreadsheet. Then if I'm lucky, you know, I could email them through the portal. In all fairness, I do think I could at least email them through the portal, you know.
Sure.
But boy, you're right, it'd be great if that stuff just showed up there, and it'd probably be so powerful.
Exactly.
The decision making process.
Yeah, and there's ways to consolidate. Even with Peloton, I can share Peloton data with my Fitbit app, so that it rolls into the Fitbit is kind of the Fitbit app is kind of the keeper of all of my health data, because it's got resting heart rate now, breathing rate, and it's, with some of the monitors, it goes in a lot more detail. But yeah, I think that'd be something I'd like to see in a portal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, and I do.
That will be cool.
Oh, sorry.
Diana, is that your Snoopy? Is that son, or I can't really see?
Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
Hi.
Oh, how old is he?
He's just 6 months.
6 months.
6.5.
He's a big boy for 6 months.
He's a taller. He's actually people say that it's like a size of a 10 months kid. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, yeah, it's really interesting that Garmin has a lot of things. I have a Garmin, and like I saw the other day that even like I can set something on my watch that if there is, for example, like something like really different on my normal heart rate, you know, it can send an alert to the person I have, or it could be even my doctor, you know. And then if it detects that something abnormal, like, you know, maybe I can die, and it sends the data and lets some people know. I was like, wow, I mean, that could be helpful. I mean, if you think about someone that really has an issue, you know, health issue, and you really want to keep monitor this with a, you know, wearable.
That's amazing. Cool. Like, I want to upgrade my Garmin watch now. I was happy with it. I was like, I can wait another but now I think after hearing that, I want to upgrade as soon as I can. So that's great.
Hey,
so it's interesting because
yeah,
even in this article that I sent you, if you look down like the 3rd paragraph, it talks about their patient keeper and mobile heartbeat applications. So that's kind of the direction they're going with this thing with HCA. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like these are independent HCA applications that they're strictly for their use, but
where do you do you remember where HCA is based out of? Are they?
I want to say Nashville or Tennessee, or I think it's Nashville.
Southeast, but maybe national now. But I started in the Southeast. I think you're right, Tennessee. Yeah. Are you still at IBM now?
No, I've left IBM.
What are you doing now?
Right now, I'm having some fun.
What are you thinking about doing?
Great.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've generated a lot of interest in the healthcare space because of the time that I spent with Watson Health, and so I am interested in healthcare technology. You know, I've been looking at some of the cloud providers and what have you, but I've spent really the last 15 years focused on financial services, and you know, that journey through financial services took me to healthcare through, for example, HSAs. For example, Fidelity Investments and their HSA, and you know, they're a very large IBM market scan data. That's the old Truven data. So they have access to all the Truven and providing payer and provider analytics to help pick the right healthcare plan, et cetera, as you're going through for your healthcare and what have you. So that kind of led me into
the consumer side, the consumer when they're selecting. Or does it go beyond that? Does it have more broad use case?
Yeah, it provides the analysis to help you choose the right plan, but it also provides some of the pricing metrics and the pricing analytics that the companies are provided, the employer side. So they're supporting the employer side as well in terms of pricing out plans for the employer and providing those, and risk assessments and those types of things. But that led me to this interest in healthcare and life sciences. And what I've found is I look around, so I want to get out of financial services and do something new. And certainly in the last year, healthcare is on fire. But if I look at most people in this industry, their resumes, as long as they're all healthcare degrees and their backgrounds, and I look at the background that they're looking for. And while I feel confident I can do all this, generally speaking, it'd be tough for me to get an introduction to really have a serious conversation.
Well, it's probably especially at the level that you were probably used to in the financial services space, right? And that's
I've actually got my daughter is due with her third child a little bit later this month, so I'm not in a big rush right now.
Yes, you really are.
Exactly.
Well, I would love to share what we're doing, and we actually have a tie-in with some of the stuff we're doing. There is a tie-in to payer payee, but currently it's more on the compliance side with the government.
Okay.
So as probably 65% of the revenue for these larger hospitals comes in from, Medicare on the government side. And so we already help, and we can drive compliance reporting on that side, but I've had very ambitious goals to grow that. And actually that was my interest in blockchain, was if for any reason was not even to use the novel coin stuff, right, and crypto piece of it, not at all. I was thinking more from an enterprise blockchain perspective, where you could have essentially a network, right, that would that could be used as a secure network between hospital and between where you needed to be in the government, right? So gosh, I'd love to share that with you. I think we'll probably be doing some fun stuff, and hopefully we'll need to grow a team. So gosh,
let's talk some more about that.
If you're bored,
I would like to do that. It's funny because
we can do a demo in a couple of weeks. I'd love to do that. We've got to get through a couple of weeks. We've got a few big proposals in front of us right now. So I'd say maybe later next week or the week after that. I'd love to show that.
I would love to do that. It's funny because one of the headaches that we had in financial services was regulatory compliance, and I thought financial services were heavily regulated. And then I look at healthcare. Financial services is a cakewalk compared to healthcare.
I was going to mention that too. Actually, I have seen a little bit of the one industry I have seen some crossover with healthcare actually is a little bit of financial services. And the reason, at least from my perspective, I've seen it because both industries require mission critical software. They like all industries do now. But 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you were saving babies or stopping people from stealing billions of dollars. Like that was, or military, right? Those were like the three levels of mission critical. I think that in my career actually I've been able to actually go back and forth a little bit, because I actually have done, it's interesting, if I had to pick my second vertical that I just by default ended up doing the most stuff in, it was financial services. And I appreciated that too, because I didn't feel like I was leaving the importance or the mission critical piece behind, right? Because it was really wanted in that space too. So I'll just throw that out there for what it's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, have a great day, and I'll let you get back to your fun.
Let's plan on following up, and take good care of Christopher. Diana, it's a pleasure to meet him. He's cute. Is that your Snoopy or his?
I think it's both.
Great. All right. Well, I'm gonna jump, and Paul, let's plan on talking. And Diana, it's
Yeah,
great to see you all.
I'll have it on my plate. I'll be in touch within the next couple of
Okay,
weeks.
great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much for joining us.
Okay. Be
Bye.
safe. Bye.